Hello there. Welcome to Financial Accounting and 5. Today we want to look at a question paper. Still working on a question paper of November 2022. So we are going to look at question 4 according to that question paper. And this question paper is on the valuation using the weighted average cost method. So if you read through the question reads, enter the transaction below into target takeaways in vendor card using the weighted average cost method. Round off the amount two decimal places are very important to take notes. You have to round off to two decimal places. If you've got an answer that has got more than two decimal places, you round it off to two decimal places. So this is the information that we have, and we'll see that we have 20 marks on that question. We have 20 marks on that question, and then in the beginning of the question, that is on 1 March 2020, where the period is starting. We're given some details that were given there. So remember, when you're using the weighted average cost method, you need to calculate the average. That's where it is important. But this average is calculated whenever we purchase. Whenever we purchase, that's when we calculate this weighted average. And whenever we sell, we use the valuation of the weighted average that we've calculated before. The last valuation that we calculated as we purchased is the value that we are going to use when we now sell. So this is what we have. So the challenge is on calculating the average, the weighted average, whenever we purchase, whenever inventory comes in, we calculate a new weighted average. So this is what we have. We now start with this one. We've got on 1 March 2020 inventory on 8, we've got 40 items, and we are seeing that uh, out of the 40 items, we've got 8 items at 650 rands. So what does it mean? It means you're going to say 8 times your 650 rands. And then the amount that you are going to get the year, or you are going to add to the second batch that we are having there is 32 items at 680, which means that is 32 times 680. 32 times 680. 32 times 680. So that's what we have here. So when you calculate that one, the total that you are going to get when you calculate, you multiply, you add, we are going to divide by the total of units. Remember, we've got 40. So it means our 40 is going to be our denominator, so that we calculate the weighted average at the beginning. So when you do that, when you calculate that correctly, you're going to get 674. So you see that there you get now 674. So this is the figure that we are going to start with as the weighted average per unit. So we are just going to go to the answer section and summarize that as our beginning information. So we go there. So this is the inventory card that we have using the weighted average cost method. And then at the beginning, we are here, date is 1. Date is 1. So the information of the balances, we put them here in the last two columns, the units and the total. So all the units, that's where they are going to tell us how many units are there, at what amount, at what value per unit. So in this case, we have got 40 units. We've got 40 units, and we are valuing it in the answer that we got that there, which was 674. At 674, and the total that we have there is 26,960. So this is the first on the first, that is on 1 March 2020. So we can just close it so that we have some demarcation there. So we go on to see what we have next there. We go on to see what do we have next. Right. If you come here now, you would see that here we are now on the 5th, because our information on 1 March is ending here. So it means we are now on the 5th. Sold 16 items at 6,708. We are now selling. So it means we are not concerned about this this value per unit. We are concerned with the average that we calculated earlier. So we are not going to use this one. We just take the 16 items, and then we use the value of 674 that we calculated earlier. So we go there. We are now saying on the 5th now, we are issuing. So we are coming here. When we are selling, we are issuing. So we come here on the 50. Then the column that we are here is for issued units. We issued. You'd see that here now we issued 16 units. 16 units at The value per unit, we take this one now, 674 at 674 at 674, and the value now, we are now saying 16 times 674, you get 10,784. So this is what we have. Then when we've done that, we have to summarize the balances at the end now. After issuing, what now do we have there? So it means this one, these units went out, so they are reducing this one. If you say 40 minus 16, 40 minus 16, we are going to get 24. It means we are now left with 24. We are now left with 24 units. We are still using this one, 674, because we don't have any which was purchased. But when we purchase, that's when the average, weighted average per unit is going to change. So here we are now saying it's 674. It's 674. Then we calculate the two. You are now saying 24 units times 674 to get the balance in terms of the value. We are going to get 16,176 there. And then we go to the next one. The next one is the 12. You can go and check what do we have in terms of the 12. We are here on the 12. Purchased 35 items at 690. So what does it mean? We are going to make sure that we put this in the column of purchase, and then we calculate the new weighted average per unit because we are purchasing 35 items at 690. So we go there. We have got we are now putting on receipts. So we have got 35 units at 690, and the value 690 times 35, you get 24,150. So now to calculate the weighted average, to calculate the weighted average there, we are going to calculate the weighted average. Now we are now saying this value, this new value of the ones that are coming in. We have got this new value of the ones that are coming in. We add to what was there here, and then we get the total of the value. Then we divide by total units. Now we are saying we have 24 units here previously. Now we have got new 35 units. Now say 24 plus 35. Then when we say 24 plus 35, we are going to get 59. So 59 will be the denominator. So in other words, let's just try to put it there and try to calculate the average. So now what we are saying, we are going to say 16,176. This was the value before, and then the new units that we received with the value of 24,150. Then we divide by the total number of units that are there now. Previously we had 24 units. We had 24 units. Then we add to the new ones that we have received, which are 35. Then now we add and divide there. So you see that when we add 16,175 plus this one, and then we divide by the total of this one, we are going to get 683.49. So this is the new weighted average per unit. So we go back then now to see what we can do there. So it means that after these receipts, we are going to have units. We are going to have 35 plus 24, which is 59, which means we now have 59 units. We calculated the average and found that it's 683.49. So it's 683.49. So this is what we have. And then now the value, now we are saying 59 times 683.49. Then we are going to get 40,325. 325.91. So this is what we have in terms of on the 12th. This is what we have in terms of what on the 12th. Then we move on to see what we have next. try to check what we have on the next. So we are now on 17. We are now here on 17. We are saying on 17 sold items at 800 each. Sold 10 items at 800 each. So when we are selling there, we are concerned about the average that we calculated earlier. Remember, this one we are not going to consider it when we are selling. We consider the weighted average that we calculated earlier. So we've got 10 items. So we go back to see. We go back to see what we have there. Right here, we are saying we have got 10. This one is on the 17th. And we are saying we are on issued. We issued 10 units. We are using this one, the weighted average, sorry, this one that we calculated earlier, 683.49. So it's 683.49. So for the total, we're not saying the 10 times this one, then we get 68,300 and sorry, when you calculate the two there, when you calculate the two there, we're going to get 68,000, 68,000, 6,300, sorry, 6,800, 6,834, 6,834.9, 0.90 there. So this is what we have in terms of the value of the issued. And then on the balance section now, remember we are issuing, so it means there's a reduction there. It means if you say 59 minus 10, you are going to be left with 49 units. Then at now, remember the value per unit is not changing. The value per unit is not changing. We are still having 683.49, which is now 683.49. And then you calculate the 249 units times 683.49 there. 49 times 683.49, you get 33,491.01. So this is what we have in terms of the 17th. Then we check on the next dates what we are going to do. So now we are looking at 23 now. 23 now is saying sold 20 items at 820 rands each. Sold 20 items. So there we are going also on the section of issued. And we know that the value per unit, weighted average per unit, we're going to use the previous one. So 20 units ago, we go back and see what we have there. Right, we are now on the 23. And we are saying we are still on the column of issued, and we have got 20 units, and we are still using the previous weighted average, 683.49. And then on the value, we are multiplying this 20 times 683.49, then you get 13,669, 669.80. So this is what we have. Then on the balance section, remember we have 49, so we are saying minus 20, and then you get your 29. So we are left with 29 units, and the value per unit is not changing, which is 683.49. This is what we have. Then we now multiply this one 29 times 683.49 to get the value. Then we get 19,821. 821, then is 0.21. Remember, these are decimal places are being rounded up to 2 decimal places. So this is what we have on 23. Then we go and check what we have next. Right, from 23, we are on 28. Purchase the 30 items at 710 rands each. So we are purchasing now. So it means now we are now going to calculate the new weighted average because we are purchasing. We have got 30 items. This one we are not worried about it. We are just worried about the number of units purchased with 30 items. Then we go there to check what we have on 30 items. Right, this one we are now on the 28th. Purchase the 30 units at purchased 30 units at Remember, we do not have a weighted average there. We have to calculate the new weighted average. So let's see what are we going to calculate that one. So here it's 30 units. It's we check what was the value per unit according to the information that we are given there. We check the value per unit according to the information that are given. It's 30 items. It's 710. So we have got 710. So we can use it in the calculation of the weighted average. So we come here, we have 710 there. So here it's at 710. So the value now, we say 30 times this one, 30 times 710, we get 21,300. So having calculated this now, we now calculate the weighted average. Remember, on the weighted average, we are going to say this one, we are going to say 21,300 here. We add 19,821, which was there before. This is the total value, which is the numerator. Then we divide by the total number of units there. Remember, previously we had 29 units, and now we have an additional 30. So the denominator will be 29 plus 30. Then we divide there. So when you divide there, you are going to see that the answer that we are going to get is 696.97. 696.97. So it means on the balance section, we are now saying the balance now that we have for units, we are now saying 29 plus 30. And we are going to get your 59. So we now have 59 units. It's the average that we got there, 696.97. 696.97. So this is what we have. And then on the total here, we are saying 59 times this one, and we get 41,121.23. So this is what we have there on the 28th. On the 28th, then we can just put a line there to show that we have ended the 28th. Then I will go to see what we have next. We go to see what we have next. Right, the last one is 29, sold 29 items, it's 850. We just take the number of units, we have got 29, then we go there to see what we have. So now we are on the 29, and we are sold, so we are going to put on issued. And we are going to put on issued. We can just cross check what we have in terms of the total number of units that have been issued. 29 items. So what does it mean? It means we have 29 items that has been issued. So we come here, we've got 29 items, 29 units. We know that the value that we are having per unit, we are going to use this one that we calculated before, which is 296.97. 696, 696.97. 696.97. So what does it mean now? It means these are the units that were issued. So to get the value here, we are now saying 29 times 696.97. Then the value that you get here is 20,212.13. So this is what we have. Then on the balance section at the end there, we now have we had 29 units, and we issued 29. So as we are saying 59 minus 29, then we get your 30 units. We are now using this value, which is 690. We are now using that value, which is 696.97. 696.97. Then for the value here, you now say 30 times 696.97, then you get the final value here, which is 20,909.10. So this marks the end of this question in terms of inventory cards using the weighted average cost method. We'll meet again in the next video. I hope hopefully this video was helpful. Those who haven't subscribed, please subscribe and share. Let's stay tuned for more videos to come. As for this video, I'm signing out.